Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Shark Tank. We're just going through the team lineups for today's women's match of the 2026 AWL season. Round 15, Cronulla Sharks versus Sydney Uni Lions. Number 1, we've got Isabel Pamp. Number 2, Samantha Henderson. Number 3, Lucy Marsh. Number 4, Lexi Lambert. Number 5, Nancy Lee. Number 6, Samantha Hardingham. Number 7, Bernadette Doyle. Number 8, Katie McKenty. Number 9, Annalise Pamp. Number 10, Kira Rippon. Number 11, Ebony Nash. Number 12, Savannah Henshaw. And number 16, Kira Miranova. And from the looks of things, number 18, Rose Garvey. Coached by Scott Nicholson. Now, moving on to the Cronulla women's team. Number 1, Claire Durston. Number 2, Dale Axka. Number 3, Nell Payne. Number 4, Daniela Jakovic. Number 6, Sophie Hankin. Number 7, Tate Headley. Number 8, Ella Fraser. Number 9, Ashley Ryder. Number 10, Emma Putt. Number 11, Jade Vinson. Number 12, Abby Simshauser. Number 13, Madison Berggren. Number 14, Grace Welsh. Number 18, Sabine Moller. Coached by Dudi Kristic. I'll come back to you just before the game starts off with some introductions and look forward to the match at a cracking day at the Shark Tank. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. My name is Nick Watkins and I'm going to be your sole commentator for this round 15 match, Cronulla Sharks versus Sydney Uni Lions. My usual co-host, Lulu, has decided to park herself in the crowd and enjoy the match without having to commentate. So you've got to be stuck with me. If you haven't had the pleasure of listening to me commentate before, you're in for a treat. And if you have been stuck with me in the past, then I apologise in advance. Today's match is officiated by Liam Island and Fiona Hay, with match delegate Noel Harrod. And if you're new to joining us from the live stream at the Shark Tank Sutherland Aquatic Centre, I have to apologise in advance. We are positioned in a kids' splash park, so there's a lot of noise behind me. If you want to hear what I'm saying, hopefully you can. And if you don't, there's a nice big mute button at the top of the screen. I will caveat that while I've joined the commentary team in the past, I haven't had to control the camera at the same time. I'm currently nursing a coffee and an ice pack, so I'll do my best to move the camera as we get underway. That swim-off is won by number 6 for Sydney Uni, Hardingham, and the Lions will push up the pool. Lionesses, I guess, will push up the pool and have the first attack of the game. A long cross pass over to Henderson there. Henderson sits up, passes it back out to Hardingham. Hardingham looking in. Cronulla playing a bit of a three-back zone here, so Uni drives in a second centre forward. And they're rewarded with an exclusion against number 12, Abby Simshauser. Ball getting over the top of Danny Jakovic, and Simshauser getting caught with the hands down behind. There's a nice quick post pop there, and a soft little delicate top corner shot from Nash, and that takes the Lionesses up 1-0 against Cronulla Sharks in the first attack of the game. Referee Hay gets us underway for the second play. Coach Scott Nicholson will be happy with that. Nice bit of composure, good ball into the centre forward. And you're always happy when you score the first extra of the game. As Emma Park pressed out top here, waiting for the centre forward to turn. And there's a big head in the way, so we're just waiting for this young fella to duck out of the way. And if you miss that, Cronulla have just earned a 5 metre with a lovely pass from Maddie Berggren to Danny Jakovic, who dove in. So Berggren will step up to take her first shot. I might even try the zoom on this. How fancy is that? You're welcome. Getting all the technology here. And that's a goal. So it's 1 apiece. We do have some rowdy spectators in the crowd today, so I'll do my best to keep everyone seated. And hopefully nothing happens when we do have a few heads in the way. Henderson moves it over to Hardingham. Hardingham and Henderson pushing the ball deep wing now. Sydney Uni looking to creep on in, step back. Cronulla's got quite a few numbers back on the centre forward, and that gives Henderson far too much room out top. Lovely pass, shot off the hand. Another great bit of composure from the Lionesses, and that's exactly what they want to see. Cronulla has a very strong goalkeeper, Claire Durston, in the cage, and those shots off the hand are going to be critical for the Lionesses' goal count. So tit-tat-tit, and the ball's out to Madison Berggren now. She'll be looking for Danny Jakovic at centre forward. Danny, one of the best players in the world, especially at centre, so they're a handful for the Lionesses. Pass over the top from Jade Vincent goes wayward, so the clock's winding down, and Berggren will back herself out top to have a shot. And that's okay, there was only a few seconds left on the clock. Cronulla was well covered. As we can see, Sydney Uni starting to push up in counter-attack. As Henderson floats the ball over the top to Doyle. Doyle trying to turn Day Laxka. Big strong girl, Day. And big ask to turn her around. So the ball comes back out top. Hardingham, fouled heavy by Simshauser. Clock running down, she'll have to shoot this. The ball goes wide. So Cronulla will push themselves up for their own rebuttal. Long pass over to Abby Simshauser, looking for that centre forward, and it does well to get the ball into Dani Jakovic. That's a 5 metre there called on number 8 for Sydney Uni, McKenty. Unlucky for McKenty there. She did relatively well to hold one side, but the ball came really easily to the win to Simshauser. And Abby knew full well what she wanted to do, got the ball into Jakovic. And now we'll see Daya Laksa stand up. I have absolutely no idea what happened there, and there is a lot of giggles going on in the pool. I don't believe that was an intentional slow ball. I actually think it slipped out of her hand, and she's bamboozled everyone, herself included, but most importantly, Pamp in goals, and it manages to sneak on through. And the score is 2-2. Might have to get a bit of a replay on that a little bit later on. Sydney Uni playing a bit of a drive here, with Pamp moving quickly, trying to clear out that centre back. And now Uni are caught without a centre forward at all. So Doyle will drive in against Jakovic. Tell you what, that's a bold move, taking her into centre back. Lambert sits up, tried to toss it over the top, but she was shooting as her legs were going down. And that's too easy for Claire Durston to recover. So Cronulla will push up the field here. Moving to the left side of the pool, getting it deep wing to Simshauser. She'll be looking for someone to follow her into the 2, but nothing doing. So lofty pass over the top. Jade Vincent tries to force it to Jakovic. There was an easy interception there. I think that was Marsh for Uni that got that. Whoever's recording stats, we can check with that later. So pretty standard start to the game here. A few good plays from both teams and a couple of early mistakes that the coaches will be pretty keen to get out of the way as the game progresses. We had a nice ball in there and a strong turn by Marsh, sending Madison Bergeron to the naughty corner. Bergeron was a little bit disappointed. She had both hands up and looked at the referee, but it looked like she might have pulled Marsh back early on. So now the ball moves deep right. It looks like they're trying to bring on Henderson out top, and there she goes, top corner. Nice big strong legs, long levers, and too much of an ask to block down the line. Sydney Uni back in front, 3-2. Referee Hay just waiting for Cronulla to get their subs on, and we restart with Bergeron down the right-hand side of the pool. Good left-hander, Bergeron. Second season with Cronulla. She gets the ball back, looking for Jakovic at centre forward. She's on. But referee Ireland saw a push-off there. And Sydney Uni will be very thankful for that, because Jakovic had a lot of space. If they're quick here, Sydney Uni can capitalise on a little bit of a break, but maybe a little bit too slow pushing the ball up the field. Nonetheless, they'll be looking for their centre forward. They're playing a very wide mushroom. And now a lot of drivers here. It looks like we're trying to set a pick on the right-hand side of the pool, and Henderson trying to drive from out top. Not sure if that was the tactic or maybe a little bit of confusion from the Lionesses. The shot goes wide. Claire Durston recovers, and now Abby Simshauser moves it up. Passes it back to Barclay out top, and they'll resettle here, down to Fraser. Bergeron deep wing, back to Fraser. She's got a good shot, Fraser. They won't want to give her too much space. But obviously a little bit paranoid with Jakovic at centre forward, and unable to get anything that time. Referee saying she was holding the ball and didn't warrant a kick out. So Lee pushing up here for the Lionesses, gets it down to Rippon. Here a Rippon looking for something to happen, passes it back out to Lee. Ball back out to Henderson, almost on halfway now. She won't want to be shooting this. But the ball manages to get to the centre forward. Oh, and a great tip and catch there by Claire Durston. That was very fortunate for Cronulla. There wasn't much happening that whole attack, and yet Henderson managed to get the ball in quite nicely to Marsh. A threatening play. We imagine Coach Christic for Cronulla Sharks will be having a chat with his girls to keep an eye on Henderson. She's a bit of a handful so far in this first quarter as Simshauser sits up. She's on about 3 metres there. Nice cross pass to Bergeron. And a lovely goal there, cross cage. That was excellent work from Abby Simshauser. You probably would have backed her to shoot that 3 metres out. But there was a wall of arms in front of her, so she threw the cross pass, opened up a lovely channel for Berggren. 1-2 pump, cross cage, and not much that Izzy Pamp can do in goals there. And we're back to even Stevens. So some subs called from both teams. Just over 2.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Heavy rush foul there from Sophie Hankin. It looks like they're playing a heavy press here. Emma Part doing pretty well centre forward with Nash, but Nash manages to get front water. That was an excellent drop there by Abby Simshauser again. So that's back-to-back plays from Abby, showing she's more than a threat just in attack. She's got a lovely shot, great awareness as we saw that last play. And it comes into account in defence too as she crashes back and stops that front water pass. Managed to get the ball in there, and that's an exclusion. It's going to be called on Lee. Earned by Sophie Hankin there, and a lovely ball in. I believe it was from Ella Fraser. Just good awareness from the Cronulla Sharks there. Not rushing too much, having a look at which side their centre is. We'll see what they can do from their extra. Simshauser moves it down to Fraser. Fraser takes it in. Offset to the right, Payne, walking back to Simshauser, back to Payne, looking to draw that defender a little bit. She wound up, she was backing herself, she saw something and liked it, so called for the 1-2 off Payne, but hits the outside of the post, sends it wide, so now Pamp will be pushing it up for the Lionesses. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Ball gets into the centre forward there, quite fortunately, and my goodness, was that Abby Simshauser again? She's copped it in the face, but managed to be regathered by Cronulla. She did excellent there. She dropped pretty much off the far wing, swam back, blocked it with a noggin, and she's going to swim slowly to the side. So Cronulla will be looking to slowly work it up here. It's a tough ask for Hankin at centre forward. Coach Dusan Kristic just asking the referees what's going on. They've got a player injured. The ball wasn't called for. So Cronulla's basically had to sit on that whole attack. And I'll report back when I know a little bit more about what's happened to Abby. But in the meantime, Ripon moves it up the right-hand side of the pool. Big long pass over to Pamp. Pamp fouled by Jakovic. Pamp sits up, moves it back to Ripon. Ripon looking centre forward, but she's completely outmuscled by Putt at the moment, so they're moving around top. Desperate drives and a lovely shot by Kira Ripon there, straight down the line. Sophie Hankin blows out a bit of spray and frustration, I think. And Claire Durson's getting up her team. Not overly thrilled with the defence there. Here we go, Sydney Uni take the lead 4-3. And a very exciting quarter. Both teams trading blows. And we've got just under a minute to go. So probably Cronulla will get this attack away. The Lionesses will get one more. Unless something surprising happens as the ball moves back out top. That's Payne. Payne looking for the centre forward. No one there now. Cronulla sending 2 drivers in. Probably clogging things up a little bit. But still managing to earn that exclusion with Jakovic. Jakovic passes the ball down to Alaxka. Back out to Payne. To Fraser. They're moving it down to Hankin on the wing. Hankin offset back to top to Payne. Down to Alaxka. Big long arms there, Alaxka. Throws over the top. Nice little pop there. And unfortunately, Emma Part unable to get a hold of it. Tried to throw it before she caught it. And gave it on a platter to Pamp in goals. So here we go. 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Sharks were desperately trying to hold out here. Don't want the Lionesses going... that's an exclusion, accidental contact with the head. And Coach Nicholson saying, hold the ball. We'll try and play extra in the second quarter. Okie dokie. That ends the first quarter of round 15, 2026 AWL Women's. Cronulla Sharks hosting the Sydney Uni Lionesses. It's 4-3 to the Lionesses with goals to Hardingham, McKenty, Ripon and Henshaw. And for the Sharks, there's a goal. Apologies, that was the exclusions. Obviously, my old man eyesight's not working too well. So let's try that again. They're the exclusions for Uni. We've got 2 goals to Henderson, 1 goal to Lee, 1 goal to Rippon. And for Cronulla Sharks, 1 goal for Dale Laxka, 2 for Madison Bergeron. Interestingly, by my count on the scorecard, Sydney Uni have 5 goals if we tally the players and 4 goals on the primary score. So I'll come back to you when I know a little bit more about that. If you're just joining us today, my name's Nick Watkins. I'm going to give you a brief bit of respite from my nasally Kermit the Frog voice. My 2-year-old's decided to bring home every daycare germ this week, so hopefully you can put up with me. And we'll be back to start the second quarter shortly. Okay, we've just had a quick yarn with the table and we've taken off one of the goals for Sydney Uni, so it is indeed 4-3 as we get underway for the second quarter. It's an absolute cracking day here at the Shark Tank as the ball is won there by Madison Bergeron and flicked away with an exclusion, number 7, Doyle. Unlucky there, Doyle. She thought she might have been a bit of a tussle for the ball. And she's sent to the corner for a bit of a spell. So Cronulla will look to even things up very early in this second quarter as they wrap around to the right, bringing on Alaxa out top. Emma Putt decides to go herself. They tried to wrap around, bring on Ryder and Alaxa on the far left side. It broke down, so they moved it back, and Emma said, bugger it. Give it to me. Walks in, nice and strong. Throws it cross cage. And that takes the score to 4-all. We've got a full press by Sharks at the moment. Emma Putt muscling up against Marsh at centre forward. And so Uni are looking to drive someone in, but at the moment, nothing doing. Marsh trying to turn and face the 1 position, which is the left-hand side of the field, if you're not too familiar. Ball moves back to Henderson. She's dangerous. They won't want to give her too much space. And Doyle tries to throw cross cage and bends Jakovic's nose in the process as Alaska showing no foul. 2 strong women here playing. This is good contest here. Henderson pushed all the way back to halfway, but we've seen in the game so far that she's still able to feed a pretty handy ball to centre forward from a distance. That time, not so. Durston with the ball. Moves it up to the right-hand side of the field to Ash Ryder. Ash Ryder looking for a bit of help here. Gets it to the top to Vincent. Vincent driving in. They've got Jakovic at centre forward, which you can assume will be their play. So they've got a couple drops. Vincent has to drive. Ash Ryder's got a lot of space. Throws it over the top to Vincent, who manages to turn. That was a cheeky little pass from Ash Ryder. I thought she might have second-guessed herself halfway through. If she stuck Vincent's hand, it probably would have been a catch and goal. But Cronulla will take the kick out. Got distracted by my own voice and wasn't really paying attention to who that went against, so I'll come back to you. as Emma Part tries to throw low and left. But Izzy Pamp up to the challenge. She goes, come take it again next time. The ball back to Henderson. So we've got Marsh at centre forward again. Marsh has managed to do really well to get into a strong position. But Alaska there calls on the help of keeper Claire Durston in the Aussie Stingers squad. So she's pretty savvy, Claire. And a great club woman too. She does a hell of a lot to make sure the gears don't grind to a halt at Cronulla. As the intercept pass thrown by Berggren. Right idea, wrong execution. Possibly getting a little bit tired there. The first quarter, we had 8 goals. They were coming relatively frequently. So far, only 1 in this second quarter. So maybe losing the legs. So we've got Doyle swimming in here. Tries to go over the top. Claire Durston, lovely legs. Great positioning. Tips it and regathers. And now you can see there's a bit of a grapple going on in backfield here. Again, suggesting that both teams are probably a little bit gassed. And I think it'd be a safe bet to say that if the Sharks convert here, there might be some subs both sides as it gets pushed to the right-hand wing. So that's position number 3. I might go through that at half-time for our new fans as the ball comes out top to Vincent. Vincent moves it to Alaska. Alaska, wowee. She's got arms that go on for days. And she throws that nice cross-cage bar in. I love to say I told you so, and here we go, subs for both teams, getting some fresh legs. And good to see Abby Simshauser is back on. She copped a bit of a blow in that first quarter. I think it was from the ball. So hopefully no malice intended. It's good to see her back on. Cronulla Sharks 5-4. Ball out top to Hardingham. Hardingham and Simshauser. Very long pass over the top, but this will be a bit of trouble here for Cronulla Sharks if the ball comes into the centre forward. That's what you want to see. Alaska got nice front water position there. They can't afford for the ball to come to the wing, and there it is. So Payne's going to have to stay back as Berggren ladders. Oh my goodness, that's a lovely goal. Sydney Uni, take a bow. That's perfect composure. Cronulla had the best position that entire attack, and just a little bit of a play towards the end by Pamp. Manages to get it in. And lovely, lovely play. That's good awareness, good patience. So, back to 5 apiece. Cronulla women sitting top of the table. Sydney Uni sitting 3rd. So this is a great way to end the regular season before finals coming up at the end of the month. As Vincent throws cross cage, little tap into Djakovic. Yeah, she's tough to mark. You basically got to assume there's a kick out if she gets the ball every time there. So the ball goes out to Berggren, fouled, which you don't really want to see in extra. As the ball goes back to Berggren. Looking over the top to Alaska. Catches Simshauser off guard a little bit, so fouled quite nicely out the top by McKenty. Back to Berggren. Simshauser, she'll probably look to put this back to the wing. There we go. Big, long, powerful shot by Alaska there. I think she might have stayed up a little bit longer just to let everyone on the Sydney Uni team know. Don't disrespect me with that much space. It was tough though. Abby Simshauser did a lovely job moving in, drawing the defence. So Cronulla take the lead, 6-5, and some more subs coming on. Ball out top to McKenty. Fouled there, and looks like she's turning Tate Headley there, and she's going to go. And then pulls up a little bit because there's good position being held there by Nash at centre forward, but referee Island saw a hook. And so called an offensive turnover, Sharks ball. And Day Alaska now moving her back up. She's playing very well today, Alaska. She's scored a couple of good goals. Oh, that's the commentator's curse. That has happened every single week I've been here. And this is another little counter-attack here from Pamp. She got left behind at one point. And that's a 5-metre called against Nell Payne. Not much Nell could do there. Alexa did well to try and cover. And I really like to see that in a player. Young kids, if you're watching, or AWL players, if you're watching the replay, everyone's going to miss. But if you put your head down and get back straight away, you can make a difference for your team. We'll see what Durston can do here against Henderson. Oh, and Henderson sprays it wide. She's filthy with herself. Looks to the heavens. And so Cronulla afforded a very good opportunity there. Fraser moving in. And I believe that was Headley caught inside the 2. It's been a challenge that some of the young Cronulla players have faced all season. Unsure if maybe lack of awareness or maybe they're getting suckered in by some smarter defence. But they're going to have to iron that out come finals as the ball moves back out top to McKenty. McKenty fouled by Headley, so again, another good cover there. And a rushed pass in, but there was already 3 back there. And I feel for Nash. She never should have got the ball. She was doing a great job to lure the defence back. Needed to come from out top or a bit of movement. So you can see fatigue starting to creep in for both teams. Bergeron moves it down to Nell Payne. Nell Payne looking for Headley at centre forward, but Henderson playing drop off that wing. Figuring Nell is a right-hander, maybe not too much of a threat. So the ball back to Fraser. She'll probably back this. And straight to the goalie. Izzy Pamp pulls that one down. And throws it to who I can only assume is her sister. Another Pamp, number 9. Dangerous little player. Pamp, well, both of them. Oh, great ball. Lovely pass in. Excellent backhand from Doyle there. Yeah, big fan of Annalise Pamp. I haven't seen her play much. She looks a fair bit smaller than most of the other girls, but she moves like a water spider, dancing and darting this way and that. And excellent awareness to feed that ball at centre forward. A lot of players fall into the trap. They think they've got a bit of front water. They're on the 2 or 3 metres. They're going to back themselves to shoot. But playing that ball in, really, really good move. So 6 apiece. Bergeron moves it over to Alaxa and feeds it into Jakovic. But there you go. Annalise Pamp, hands up, lets it go, trusts her teammate. And that's excellent coverage from Lee. This is McKenty moving the ball up here for Sydney Uni. Sits up. Tough shot for the right-hander. Cross cage against Durston. Durston manages to chip the ball, get the rebound. Now she moves it up to Putt. Putt swimming herself to the 2. It's not really what you want to see as a coach. You usually have a release at halfway and then another release on the wing. Means you can move the ball up quickly. But no one else there. She swims herself. And you can see that's the trouble. She had to swim herself. She's probably a bit gassed. Low on her legs, throws a pass, easy intercept. And now you've got to go back and cover. Ball out top with Henderson for the Lionesses. A fair bit of splashing and crashing at centre forward. Emma Putt now marking up against Marsh at centre forward. But the ball's stuck on the wrong side. Oh my word. How that pass managed to get in, I'm not sure, but Lexi Lambert, that was a phenomenal ball. Either that or it was extremely fortuitous, but gets through to the fender. The challenge with that one is Emma Putt had a really, really good position. She'd fronted the centre forward, Marsh, but she wasn't watching the ball. So another little tip for young players. You can feel where your defender is. You know where they are. So it's always best to have eyes on the ball, hand on your attacker. So ball back out top. We've got just under 1:30 to go. So Putt moves it deep wing to Bergeron. Bergeron looks to feed it early. Straight to Jakovic. That's another 5 metre. I feel like I didn't move the camera in time. Apologies if not. But here's where the real action will be. Bergeron stepping up for another 5. My mum always told me I can't do more than 2 things at once. Drinking coffee, commentating and moving the cameras. Really putting me into a spin. Bergeron, bounce, top left. Pamp had the right side. Chose to go low. And there we go. We should be back to 7 now. This is an excellent game. Good crowd here today. It's Sharky's shirt round weekends. You can hopefully see A nice barbecue tent over there, Sutherland Shire Water Polo Juniors. Doing a bit of fundraising, some yummy cakes and treats. As the ball's out top with Lambert. Lambert feeds a great pass in. Yeah, that's an easy exclusion. Jade Vincent knew it. She had to take it. Caught behind. Excellent work from Marsh. So Sydney Uni try and draw into front with under a minute to go in the first half. Ball right over the top to Henderson. Jumps out to her toes to get it. Wrong move. I feel like that might have been premeditated. Wanted to play Marsh. Pamp winds up. Shot. Blocked. Clock had run out as well, so it wouldn't have counted. So Cronulla will have one attack here to take the lead going into half-time. It'll be a nice little moral victory for them. As Bergeron sits up. They're calling in a sub. Danny Jakovic coming in now. So centre forward's not really in position. Danny will have to swim up. Yeah, maybe not the right move there. Laxka's got a good shot, and it was off the hand. I love a good shot off the hand, but she was very, very deep, so she didn't have much of an angle. And Sharks still had a fair bit of time on the clock. So we could be entering the second half with Uni in the lead, as Pamp throws a lofty little pass over the top to Lambert. Pretty good defence there from Cronulla. They'll be looking for Henderson, I think. Yep, here we go. Big long arms. Passes it off again. But pulled down by Claire Durston. A big round of applause from the crowd. And as I said, it's an exciting game. 7 apiece. And I'll quickly run through the statistics for you. Hopefully they've been updated and they're correct now. So for Sydney University exclusions, we've got Henderson on 1, Lee on 2, Hardingham on 1, Doyle on 1, McKenzie on 1, Nash on 1, Henshaw on 1. Exclusions for Cronulla, Payne on 1, Hankin on 1, Vincent on 1, Simshauser on 1, Bergeron on 1. And then goal scorers, Sydney University, Henderson 2, Marsh 1, Doyle 1, Ripon 1, Nash 2. For Cronulla, Alaska 3, Putt 1, Bergeron 2. That means we're missing one. Scoreboard's not quite up to date again. I'll follow that up with the referees. So we've got just under 2 minutes to go before the second half. I'll jump back on in a minute's time, give you a bit of a rundown around what's happening at the Shark Tank today and across the league. Be back in a minute. Okie dokie artichokey. Welcome back to the Shark Tank. 7 apiece in this round 15 match. Cronulla Sharks women versus Sydney Uni Lionesses. It's been a pretty exciting game so far, quite even. Not too many mistakes or not too many major mistakes. The play's been good from both teams. And aside from what I think was one accidental elbow or possibly a ball hitting Abby Simshauser's face, it's been quite clean. So played in good spirits. Refereeing's been consistent. And the crowd's really been enjoying it. This is the last round for the 2026 AWL season before finals. And you won't be able to see the crowd that we've got sitting below me. But we've got a fair bit happening. Inflatable sharks, a nice barbecue. There's another shark. So it's our shark shirt, black, blue and white round this weekend. We've got a lot of the juniors up from the Sutherland Shire Water Polo Association, so lovely to have them involved. And we're sitting at a lovely 25 degrees Celsius. I am fortunate to be standing in the kids' play park, so I'm in the shade. It's a little bit noisy behind me, but that probably drowns out some of my absolute nonsense chat. If you're just joining us, either for today or this season, my name's Nick Watkins. My usual partner in crime, Lulu, is sitting down below me in the crowd. She's chosen to rest her vocal cords this weekend. A little bit too much karaoke last night, so I've been told. I think the thing that both coaches will be looking at from their teams this half is a little bit more awareness for the centre forward. Cronulla obviously got relatively handy centre forward. I think she's got potential. Dani Jakovic, Paris Olympian, Australian stinger. And when the ball seems to get into her, things happen. But not to be outdone, Sydney Uni have had a number of their players doing quite well in at centre forward, but really helped by their perimeter. Some good patience, making sure they're aware of which way the centre forward's facing, not forcing it in and managing to move it, even to the last second of the shot clock. So foul trouble's not too bad for both teams as we get underway, and Annalise Pamp wins that one. So Sydney Uni will have a crack at scoring first in this third quarter as Henderson's fouled on halfway. Moves around to Lambert. Lambert sitting up, patiently waiting. They're trying to get McKenty in at centre forward, figure out who wants to be centre. And now it looks like they've created a bit of a mismatch with Marsh. I think she was pretty lucky to get that call there, Jade Vincent. It looked like she was all over her. But referee Hay calls ordinary foul, and Sydney Uni have 1 second left, so Annalise Pamp tests her luck, a little bit of a lob over the top, but Sydney Uni nicely covered, so no harm done in having a throw. Simhauser sitting on halfway now, waiting for the team to get set up. Big long cross pass to Ella, ball into Emma Part. Ella Fraser getting caught there. You could hear Coach Christic from the Cronulla bench asking her to swim in, follow the ball, which she threw deep wing, but she stayed out top, and that meant by the time she received the ball back, the defence could crash. So it's another really good lesson for young players and AWL players alike. As the great Rocco Bryant says, if there's space, take it. As Pamp sits up, looking to take that space, moves in 4 metres, tries the lob, but a bit of a regather. And referee Hay sees some Sydney Uni holding some togs and says, not today, ladies. Let's just keep swimming. A bit of argy-bargy from both teams. As I said, it's been played in pretty good spirits, so not too much drama, not too much chat from either teams. It's been an enjoyable game to watch. But maybe as the clock's running down and fatigue sets in, it'll get a little bit messy as Fraser swims in. She's got front water here. She's gone the big emu grip. Thrown it straight over. Coach Christic's not sure about that. He reckons it might have been tipped. From up here, it did look like it was just a bit of a stinker from Ella. Maybe playing Quidditch rather than water polo. The ball moves down here to Henderson. Henderson sits up looking for a bit of support, but not much doing. Sydney Uni pretty flat. Oh, and that's unfortunate. Really unfortunate for Nash. She was holding Vincent really well there. And just a skip pass. Bounces out of her hand, and the referees are never going to reward that. You've got to get up nice and high and plop it on front of the water. So Cronulla pushes up again. We haven't had a goal yet. Ball gets into Ella Fraser. She's sitting nicely down inside the 2 as she can with the ball. Hit by Henderson there. And the ball is being given to Sydney Uni, saying Fraser's lost it out of bounds. So that's 2 back-to-back to Ella. But she's good experience, calm player, so sure she'll bounce back from this as she covers hard. Sydney University pushing up the middle. So Alaska forced the foul. Henderson moves it to the far right side of the pool. Nash pushing the shot against a very well set Durston. It was a good play from Henderson. She had the break going up the middle, chose to move it to the far right wing, which ideally would have meant it was an easy cross pass to the players that are coming in the second break. That's the second line of attackers coming down the field. But Nash thought she saw something, shot, and was lucky enough to regather. The Sydney Uni setting up here. And that's gone a little bit haywire. Oh, they've called it, that's been touched. So we'll get another corner for Sydney University. Foul out top, Annalise Pamp. She moves it around, pushes it into Lambert. Lambert turns, bounce top corner. Beautiful play by Lambert there against a very, very talented Emma Putt. So absolutely no slouch, Lambert. She gives the bench a little bit of a smile, and some subs called from both teams. Makes sense. That was a lot of swimming, 2.5 minutes, a bit over 2.5 minutes in that quarter before a goal. Vastly different to the first quarter. And I will try and get you in the field, but we've just got some... Hi Ash, you're on live stream at the moment. That's you're welcome. Okay, so we'll just move these rowdy spectators out of the way as the ball's out top, moves back to Simshauser. Back out to Ash Ryder, back to Simshauser. Oh, that looked like a little bit too much butter from the popcorn last night. Slips out the top of her hand. It is a warm day today, not a cloud in the sky, so you'd assume that most players have slipped, slop, slapped. And the reason we're a little bit late starting today, the referees were doing a sunblock check. So slippery fingers means Sydney Uni gets to set up. They are leading 8-7 at the moment. So this will take the lead to 2 for the first time this game. Ball out top to Doyle, cross pass. And a lovely, lovely lob there from McEntee. She threw that off her back, not the best position to be in. And it looks like Coach Kristich has called a timeout for Cronulla Sharks. As I said, that's the first time the lead's gone to 2. I think it's gone to 2. The scoreboard hasn't updated. So bear with me. But either way, Kristich deciding his team are losing a little bit of composure. So calls the timeout after the goal. All players on the rope or the bench listening to him. I imagine he'll be asking for a little bit more composure. What was working really well in the first half for both teams is playing that extra pass. That means you might see something's on, but it's better to pass it around the perimeter one more time, either to your centre forward, so it comes in at the best angle, or if your player's sitting up, balking, looks like they're going to shoot, throw that cross pass and let your teammate shoot off the hand. Neither team really got that composure at the moment. The clock's running down, they're forcing some passes, they're either being intercepted or not coming off. Aside from McEntee's lob, I think it was McEntee, that last one, lovely. So we'll restart here because it's a timeout. Ball's back with Durston. Looks like we've got Alaska in centre forward for the Sharks. And looks like Jakovic going to be driving in from the wing here. Yep, they've tried to set a bit of a pick. That's a great pick there. Bergeron coming around. Gets the ball into Jakovic. And the 5 metre is called. Looks like we might be having a bit of a word with Dusan Kristich here. He was a little bit animated when he didn't think the call had been made, but we'll let Jakovic put that in the back of the net. So World Aquatics have updated the rules probably about 619 times in the last couple of months, but one of those more recent changes is if it looks like it's a 5 metre, the referees can indicate it but also play on. So referee, hey there, saw as a 5, she had her hand up, she'd called it by signalling, but she doesn't need to blow the whistle until the attacker fails to convert. And that's why there was a bit of a delay, and that's why it's now 9-8 to Sydney Uni. A little cheeky hand holding there. Referee Hay not falling for it, calling Marsh. And now the Sharks are pushing a counter-attack. They do have a slight break here if they can work it to the right side. Nice cross pass to Bergeron there, gets it back into Jakovic, and yet another 5 metre. So that's perfect play. We saw both Uni and the Cronulla Sharks doing that in the first quarter. a little bit in the second and not at all this one, except for that last play. So we've got back-to-back 5 metres, and you might not be able to hear it, but the Cronulla bench is ecstatic, obviously lining up with what coach had requested at that timeout. It's Bergeron, shapes up, Pamp dives right, Bergeron goes left, and we're back to 9 apiece. Coach Scotty Nicholson calling 3 of his players for a breather, or 2 of his players. 3 minutes 39 left in this third quarter. Ball with Henshaw, just past halfway, giving her team time to set up. They're being really quite creative drivers at the moment. Annalise Pamp doing some damage as she tries to take the centre back out. She does so, it breaks up the drop, ball gets to Marsh, Marsh earns the kick out, and that's Dayalaxka sent to the corner. So very creative drives, midfield picks and screens from Sydney Uni, and it's working them wonders as the ball goes out to Henderson. She backs herself to the shot, she needed to. Henshaw was very wide, was never going to be a threat, but unfortunately hits the post. And it was a fortuitous rebound for Durston. As Simshauser comes up, hit the ball. She's got a few players on her here, so we think it'll be an ordinary foul, and they'll probably slow things down and set up their attack. Got about 16 seconds left at the shot clock, so plenty of time for the Cronulla girls here. Long pass over to Ryder. Ryder gets fouled. Moves it back to Simshauser. Big cross pass to Emma Part, and a slow but effective bounce near corner. Tall player Emma, she stood up, nice and high out of the water, stayed on her legs, wrapped the ball around defender. Not much that Izzy Pamp can do there. That's defender down the line every day. And now Cronulla calling in a number of subs. Cronulla's back in the lead for the first time in maybe just under a quarter. So momentum swing. That's 3 goals unanswered by my count. As the ball moves up to Henderson. Henderson fouled by Vincent. Again, some sneaky drives in at the centre forward. If you can see what's going on in there, it's some really good play, but again, another little skimmy pass, and the referees can't reward that. Centre back had hands up. If you're not entirely sure of the rules, join the club. But a nice little rule of thumb is if the centre back is caught behind and the ball comes in, the new interpretation says if your hands are down, it's basically a kick out every time. But Cronulla were managing to show 2 hands there, and the pass was a little bit wide. And now Cronulla have earned another exclusion here. So if they can put this away, they'll take their own 2-goal lead for the first time of the day. Ball back out to Hankin. Oh. And she throws it straight into the arm of Hardingham. So she'll be disappointed with that. And Coach Christick on the sideline, not overly thrilled with that decision. I think the ball was meant to go to Alaxka. Bit of argy-bargy starting to happen in the middle of the field. You can see it on both teams during transition. People either getting heavy-handed, as Danny Jakovic buries it in there. So you'll start to see in transition, which is when someone has a shot and it's recovered by the defending team, that both teams are starting to get caught up on around the 5, 6, 7 metre mark. Getting a little bit holdy, grabby. It can sometimes happen when they're genuinely being held. Sometimes when they're getting a little bit heavy. And so you get some chest and stomachs falling all over each other. And if you're one of my 5th grade boys, it's probably because you can't be bothered swimming up in attack, so you're using it as an opportunity to have a breather. Probably not at this level, as Cronulla take 2-goal lead, 11-9. Ball pressed out top by Hankin. Fouled, Doyle. Back out to McKenty. McKenty throws it wide, looking for that nice ball in. And no foul given, so referee Hayes saying that Lee at centre forward managed to get the ball, played on, held it, shot and threw it away. So that's all I can give you, fans at home. As I said, if you don't quite understand the rules, they do change every couple of minutes. Ball out top with Bergeron here. There's 2 seconds left, so you'll assume that this is a shot or a dump. A little bit of a wasted opportunity there, but we've got 30 seconds to go. They'll be looking for the centre forward here, get the ball in early, I think. That's something that Sydney Uni do exceptionally well. They get a driver coming, they don't try and force it from the top, they make sure they play to the wing. It was the great play, right execution, just tough getting it past Claire Durston. She throws it down deep to Addie Simshauser. He tries to turn, bury it past Pam, but Pam's up to the challenge. And there we go. It started slow. Well, maybe not for the players, there was a lot of swimming. 3 minutes before our first goal in that quarter. And the Cronulla Sharks have managed to come to a 2-goal lead. It's been even Stevens, or 1 goal difference for most of this game. So the Cronulla bench feeling pretty energised there. None more so than Coach Kristich. Just over a minute to go before our fourth quarter, round 15 of the 2026 Women's AWL match, Cronulla Sharks versus Sydney Uni Lionesses. And I'm going to give you all a small break from my dulcet tones and join you in around about a minute. Welcome back to the Shark Tank. We're just about to commence the fourth quarter of this women's match, Cronulla Sharks versus Sydney Uni Lionesses. For Sydney Uni, Henderson's on 2 exclusions, Lee on 2, Hardingham 1, Doyle 1, McKenty 1, Pamp 1. Nash is on 2, Henshaw's on 1. For Cronulla, so Laxka 1, Payne 1, Hankin 1, Vincent 1, Simshauser 1, Bergeron 1. And for goals, Henderson's on 2, Marsh is on 1, Doyle is on 1, Rippon's on 1, Nash is on 2. And for Cronulla Sharks, Alax is on 3, Jakovic 2, Part 2, and Bergeron on 4. Hopefully that math adds up. We've had a few issues with the goal count on the scorecard today. And I've left my binocs at home. As I sit here in this lovely commentary position, nestled snugly against the kids' play park just behind me. As mentioned at the start of the match, my co-host Lulu Gaither has decided to rest her vocal cords and join the crowd and enjoy this match today. So you're stuck with me and my impersonation of Kermit the Frog as I battle some daycare germs. We're underway. It looks like Pamp easily takes that against Vincent. Tell you what, it's the first time I've seen Pamp play and I'm very impressed. She's very, very quick. Very agile. She looks like a real pain in a good way. Jade Vincent is no slouch as a swimmer. And now Pamp's holed up at centre forward, one of the smaller players on their team, but she's done a great job to get Vincent excluded. We'll talk more about that after this attack as the ball moves back to Henderson out top. Puts it down to 1. But caught inside the 2. That is unfortunate for Sydney University. I'm not sure who that was called on, maybe Lee. So Vincent will return to the pool and she'll get the ball off Durston. Vincent was excluded there. She was in decent position, at least the way they used to teach it, bum up, chest against the centre forward's shoulder as Emma Putt sits up here. Oh, she was too close. She should have backed herself there. I'm going to talk about that one in a second, but Vincent, good position. However, the interpretation of the rules now, can't be sitting directly behind the centre forward, especially when they're in good position and they get the ball. So she was going to be sent to the naughty corner every day. And that was a lovely ball, lovely ball from McKenty. I think she caught Henderson a little bit off guard. Henderson looked like she just throwed her arm over the top of that. Throwed, that's not a word. My high school English teacher would be appalled. Threw her arm over the top of the ball and accidentally knocked it. So no foul given. And Cronulla in attack. Back out to Vincent. Vincent moves it to Simshauser. They're looking for Jakovic here. They get it. It's a 5. It's an excellent play. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Both Sydney Uni and Cronulla are doing an exceptional job of being really patient, making sure they get the ball to the right position on the perimeter, more often than not the wing. And then even if the centre back had the centre forward fronted, it's just too hard. Pop pass in, 5 metre every time. So hopefully Abby can reap her rewards. And she does. It takes Cronulla 3-goal lead here with 6 minutes 30 to go. It'll be 12 to Cronulla, 9 to Sydney Uni. So cycling back to Emma Putt before, she'd done a good job countering. She was in the middle of the pool, picked up the ball on 7, slid into about the 5, started balking, and then she tried to throw an over-the-top pass to Jakovic. I think she'll probably want to have that again and just back herself at that distance. And that can be the challenge when you have a really strong centre forward like this, especially for younger players. Not that Emma's exactly inexperienced, but sometimes you get a bit too reliant on the superstars and you don't back yourselves. However, things are working out for Cronulla this afternoon as the ball comes back up to Putt, straight down the guts. And over to Bergeron, who's looking for Jakovic. Nice and patient, ball out top to Alaxkar, back to Bergeron. Throws it to Jakovic, Norval foul. There's a good bit of defence there from McKenty. I was pretty impressed with that one. Didn't let Jakovic turn her. 5 seconds left. Emma Putt has a big, long shot. And basically just hands it to Doyle on a platter. So regathered. And Hardingham will move the ball up the right-hand side of the field. There's no one up there in the 2 metres, so she's got plenty of space and she'll swim it in, but she's stopped herself on the 5. Possibly waiting for Doyle to kick out. Oh, lovely shot from Claire Durston. Save from Claire Durston there. Pamp had a bit of time and space, but Claire picks it up. Oh, and that's silly. That's throwing away the toys. Henderson's excluded. She'll be gone for the game now. That was just unlucky. Ball got thrown to Top. Top wasn't paying attention for Sydney Uni. And a nice little intercept. Abby Simshauser said, let's just slow it down. Now, I thought it might have been a smart play from the Sharks, just taking a bit of time to start with. But now they've completely wound this clock down. Lovely. So good heads-up play from Simshauser there. Abby knew that they were a few goals up. They had the exclusion. They could have pushed it, played a 3-on-2 or a 4-on-3. But she asked the girls to slow it down. Not only eating a bit of time off the clock, but making sure that they had a chance to get in position. And it looked a bit dicey there at the start. And in the middle, to be honest. They were throwing the ball around. No one was really in position. But again, more of that patience. So Sydney Uni have called a timeout here. Coach Scotty Nicholson, he's got his whiteboard out. He's drawing Pokemon all over it. And he's probably cooking something interesting here with both Henderson and Lee excluded for the game. Henderson will be disappointed. She's been playing quite well. 2 goals for her today. Bit of a handful in both attack and defence. So it'll be up to her teammates to see if they can claw back this 4-goal lead. If you've only just started joining us, it's been basically even or just 1 goal difference until pretty much the end of the third quarter there. So the score doesn't reflect how the game's gone. But you can start to see a bit of the experience and maybe the fitness for Cronulla coming through. But Sydney Uni doing really handy drives here, like a washing machine in there. As Nash driving, Payne getting her hands up, Liam Island saying, nah, I'm not falling for it from either of you. Get on with it. So they've moved the ball out wide to Lambert, and Ash Ryder's just sitting back to give Fraser a hand. And a great block there by Ash Ryder. More of that argy-bargy, handy-holdy move from Emma Putt and Nash, and finally the referees decide to give it an ordinary foul to Cronulla. So Day moving into centre forward, but met by McKenty. Ball down to Abby Simshauser. McKenty's doing a great job pushing Alaska out. It's no small ask. Alaska's over 6 foot and very strong. Clock winds down. Ash Ryder takes a bit of a nothing shot. There was only a second left on the clock, so with the Cronulla team covered, the bench encouraged her to throw it. Now Sydney Uni pushing up. 3 minutes 50 to go. Ball out top to McKenty. McKenty, lovely ball to centre forward. Love to see that. That's excellent. Sat up high on the legs. Oh, that's fortuitous timing. I'm not sure what's going on here. So basically, ball got to centre forward. It was an exclusion. It was a good exclusion. Really good heads-up play from McKenty to feed the ball there. High on the legs. Drew the defender. Threw it around the arm. Excellent awareness. And now Coach Hay is called... okay. So they had the shot. It was saved by Cronulla, but Sydney University had called a timeout just before the shot had been taken. So referees called time, and rather than being a Cronulla ball in counter-attack, it'll be Sydney Uni timeout with about 16 seconds left on the clock. If you've enjoyed today's commentary, you're too kind and possibly delusional. My name's Nick Watkins. My usual co-host is AWOL at the moment, so I appreciate you joining us. We've got about 14,000 viewers from the looks of things, which is pretty good considering it's a glorious sunny Sunday in Sydney. After this match, the Sydney Uni men's and Cronulla Sharks men's will be playing each other. Kick off at 1:30, so in 25 minutes. But we've got to see this one out first, as Sydney Uni have got 13 seconds to go with extra here. As they move it wide to rip on over the top. A sneaky little cross drive there as they try and rebalance. And well executed by Pamp there. So Pamp and Ripon doing a bit of a screen drive. Ball got back to Pamp. Probably needed to be hit. Too many balks. And Claire Durston lost her legs in goals. Pamp managed to put it in the back of the net. And that takes Sydney Uni to double digits, 13-10 to Cronulla Sharks. Mapat sitting out top now. Looks like Sydney Uni playing a bit of an M zone, which I can explain for our loyal listeners in a little bit as the ball goes back out to Putt. We've got 2 centre forwards for Cronulla now, Alaska and Jakovic. A little bit of a lofty nothing pass from Simshauser to Jakovic. And Pamp passes to Pamp, pushing up the left-hand side of the field. And unfortunately, expecting McKenty to keep swimming there, McKenty stopped. And as a result, Cronulla easily picks it off. Ball up to Fraser, takes it down the right-hand side. There's a big counter-attack on the far side. Simshauser will very rarely miss this. She moves in. throws it in. I thought you might have given it back to Fraser there. But she does what needs to be done. Cronulla girls 14-10. It's been really good composure from the Cronulla team today. It's tough, last game of the season, some tired bodies. Still got Super League finals coming up before the AWL finals at the end of the month. And when you're playing as many games as you are, travelling all over the country, sometimes it's easy to rest on your laurels a little bit at the top. And Cronulla went down to a very handy Balmain women's team yesterday. But despite that, it's been a close game, and Cronulla women are just managing to pull in front this last quarter as Henshaw moves it to the wing. Henshaw sits up again, throws a bit of a lofty shot, tipped over the top by Durston. She probably could have left that one, but just to be safe, tips it over. And McKenty will move in. I think McKenty's cap has been 3/4 off since the first minute of the game. She slides around, Pamp moves it across to Henshaw. Henshaw looks far side and intercepted pass there. That's a great read by Fraser, really well defended. Nice and tight in the lane. As soon as the ball started moving, so did she. And you'll see that Sophie Hankin substituting for Dani Jakovic now. With a minute 42 to go in this game, Cronulla are up 14-10. Emma Part deep wing, but chooses to wait. We've now got a bit of crowding at centre forward for the Cronulla Sharks here. Ella Fraser getting caught with the ball. A little bit tough. It was very crowded in the middle from her girls. And she'll just wind the clock down. So not a bad decision there. When you're up 4 goals, minute to go, might as well just eat into the clock and make sure you cover all bases. We've got Pamp on the far side of the pool now. She's covered some territory, that young lady. Bit of a heavy foul over the top from Simshauser. As the ball moves down deep wing for Sydney University. Back out top. Hardingham sits up. Over the top now. Durston definitely could have left that one. I think that was going well over. But again, better safe than sorry. Tips it over. And Uni will have probably one more attack here, I'd say. But there's another example of a rushed pass. No eye contact from the corner. So that's happened twice where the Sydney Uni Lionesses have forced it. Teammates haven't been fully ready. And easy interception for Cronulla Shark and Aussie Stinger Dani Jakovic. Coach Christiak calling a timeout here. Ladies are 4 goals up. There's a minute to go. So you anticipate he'll be trying to run a set play, get some reps in. With the format of the season this year, AWL playing every second week, Sydney Super League, the weeks between. There's not a lot of time for training. Bloody lot of games. But it means that coaches will use every opportunity to try and practice a few moves, which is probably why you're seeing a timeout up 4 goals with 54 seconds left. Ball out top to Putt. Putt to Berggren. Lots of space for Hankin at the moment. That's centre forward for the Cronulla Sharks. That's an easy exclusion. Hankin posting up, pushing back on to McKenty. McKenty just shoves her out of the way, out of the pool. And referee Hay says, none of that. So the ball's down deep with Vincent. She moves in, Berggren out top, cross to Simshauser, back to Jade. Oh, and that's going to be a 5 metre. Yeah. So really, really good strong legs from Hankin there. She was on 2 moves before. You could see that they were holding her togs. So Cronulla playing 2 players up now. You usually see 1 player drop out here, but they're choosing to play 6-on-4, which sometimes can be even more challenging. But not for Madison Berggren. She puts it in. I think that might be her 6th of the game. And that's Cronulla 15, Sydney Uni 10. So I didn't really see anything too special from that timeout call. The play worked. They had good position, but nothing too tricky or confusing. Just a nice strong centre forward, making sure that they worked the ball around the perimeter and got it in from the right side. We've got 16 seconds here. We'll see if Sydney Uni can get a slight bit of redemption towards the end. Nonetheless, I thought it's been a really good game from both teams. Uni did lose a bit of composure, or Cronulla clued on to some of their moves by the third quarter, but it was neck and neck up until then. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Nick Watkins. The men's team will be versing Sydney University in the next 15 minutes or so. So stick around. I think there's a different link for that. And if you're dropping out now, have a wonderful rest of your weekend.